Nobody saw this move coming for the Washington Wizards, as reports have come out that the Wizards have been checking in with the Cleveland Cavaliers regarding Lonzo Ball and what it will take to get a deal done to get the former second overall pick to the Washington Wizards. You're hearing that right. After trading for Tre Young, they got their point guard of the future. It looks like they're not done looking for guards potentially. And this one's a little bit of a different situation. Lonzo Ball, he's going to have one more year left on his contract of $10 million. It could be one of those situations where they just trade for him and try to increase his value next season to then get even more draft picks out of him. You've seen this kind of cycle with the Wizards before, trading for guys such as, going after when they got Tre Young, for example. It started with Bradley Beal. They got a few draft picks out of him and some young players. Then they traded Chris Paul, got some more draft picks and young players out of him, then got Jordan Poole. Then Jordan Poole was flipped into CJ McCollum, and now to Tre Young. You could see a situation like that unfolding and happening with the Washington Wizards if they do trade for Lonzo Ball. So we're going to break all that down here in today's video, what trading for Ball looks like, if he can actually be a role player for the squad, and other stuff as well. Before we get into all that though, welcome to Wizards Digest. If you don't want to miss any news regarding the Washington Wizards, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I'm Bryson Akins, one of the beat writers for the Washington Wizards, covering them over on Wizards on SI, part of the Sports Illustrated network over there. So go ahead, check out my work there, bring you inside access, whatever I know, especially the trade deadline here right now, and especially during the off season, as I was the one that broke the Walker Kessler news out there that you guys might have saw on Twitter. With that out of the way, let's go ahead, get into talking about today's topic with Lonzo Ball a little bit here. So this was the tweet that came out about it. The Wizards are, this came from the Dunk Central, the Wizards are showing interest in Lonzo Ball per Michael Scotto over at Hoopsite. In addition, after Hoopsite reported 3 days ago that Hunter and Lonzo Ball were potential trade candidates, the Washington Wizards are among the teams that have checked in on Ball, Hoopsite has learned. The Wizards have been open to being incentivized with draft pick compensation to use their nearly $30 million in luxury tax room space and traded player exceptions for teams needing to dump salary, league sources told Hoopsite. So as you can see right there, the Cavs just kind of want to dump salary of Ball. That's all it is. And they're willing to attach a draft pick as well to get this deal done. So you could see the Wizards somehow come away with a first-round draft pick by doing this as well, which would be absolutely insane if they pull it off. I could see them potentially getting like 2 seconds, and those 2 seconds can be packaged with 2 other seconds that the Wizards already have in this upcoming draft to move up into the first round again. I could see that happening. But if they do somehow get a first-round draft pick out of trading for Lonzo Ball, that would be absolutely wild to see. It would. It's kind of crazy that this is the situation the Wizards now find themselves in, where they are seen as this salary dumping spot and teams want to get rid of draft picks for it. They're like, look, we just don't want him. We'll even add in a draft pick. You guys give us an expiring contract. Like, let's say Malachi Branham, for example, as the Cavs, they're in that second apron. They can't really take on money, and you can't package players, 2 players to match the salary of one guy. So it's kind of going to have to be Malachi Branham if a player did get sent over there. Expiring contract for $5 million. I mean, it frees up a little bit of space for them. They also have a Darius Garland decision that they have to make as well. Are they going to keep him? Are they going to trade him? What are they going to do with Garland? No one really knows, but Lonzo Ball, it's looking like he's on his way out, and the Washington Wizards have a chance to go get him as well. And it's not like Lonzo Ball is a bad player either, all right? It's not like he is. So let's go ahead and we can take a look at his stats as well. And he's kind of a role player right now when we look at it, okay? He's played 33 games. He's only started in 3 this season. He's only playing 20 minutes a game. Right now, he's averaging 4.7 points per game. And if you notice here, if you see it in a green box, that means, it's a little bit higher than usual. If it's red, it's lower than, what's the average is, all right? 4.7 for, his minutes and everything, it's around the average, all right? But his rebounds and assists are higher than they usually are. Right now, he's averaging 3.9 assists per game. That's 74th in the NBA. 4 rebounds a game off the bench as a guard. 183rd, I believe, right there in the NBA. It's just his shooting percentages are not great. There's no getting around it. He's not a great shooter. He's not a great scorer whatsoever. The Wizards wouldn't really need him as a scorer, though, if he did turn into a role player next season. They would just need him as a guy that's going to facilitate off the bench and also bring a little bit of size. And as we know, Lonzo Ball does bring some size to the table. You can see it with his rebounding numbers right there. He's also a good defensive player, especially out in the perimeter, averaging 1.2 steals per game. That's 68th in the NBA right there. Not bad at all. It's just his shooting is so poor poor that it really tanks his value as a player and trade candidate. Everywhere else, he doesn't play like bad, all right? Like I said, the playmaking, the rebounding, the defense, not bad at all. It's just his shooting. That's the biggest problem. You can see he averages 1.5 turnovers per game as well. That's not good, but it's not bad. It's just, I think that it says it's in the red there, but that's mainly because of his minutes per game. I would live with Lonzo Ball having a turnover a game off the bench. I think we can all agree we would live with that if he can go out there and give the team a solid 6, 4, and 4 along with his steal. I think we can all agree that's some good value out of him. And like I mentioned, it could be one of those things where they just kind of do look, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to take on this contract, and then we'll see what's going on later on down the road. And maybe we increase his value to where we can get another pick in return for trading Lonzo Ball. Because like I said earlier in the report, as we saw from that tweet right here, I'll go ahead and pull it up again right here. The Wizards are showing interest in Ball, and they also learn the Wizards have been open to being incentivized with draft pick compensation to use their nearly $30 million in luxury tax room space and traded player exceptions for teams needing to dump salary. So like I said, they could get a potential first-round pick in return for Lonzo Ball. I doubt the Cavs give up a first-round pick. It might be a second or two is what they do. I think that would be the more realistic of the two scenarios. But it's not bad to kind of look at it and be like, look, this is a situation the Wizards find themselves in where you trade for Lonzo Ball, you get a draft pick in return, you only give up Malachi Branham, who doesn't really do much. He just had 17 points against the Lakers. He also did play, I think, 28 minutes, and the game was a blowout, so he got a lot more time than usual. But it's not like he's been a key player for this team. I don't think there's any long-term plans for Branham in Washington, if we're being honest. So it makes sense to trade him. Trade for Lonzo Ball, who I think we can agree Ball is a little bit of a better player than Branham. I think we can generally agree with that as well. He gets some time at the end of this season. Maybe his value skyrockets during the end of the season. The Wizards trade for him, and then you can trade him in the summer again for more future draft compensation. That'd be great. If not, you keep him around, trade him before the trade deadline next season, and still try to increase his value and get more draft capital in return. The Wizards and Will Dawkins have been great at doing that and getting these guys, rehabbing them, and then getting great value in return. If you told me, like at the beginning of the season, if a package of CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert was going to get you Tre Young, one of the best guards in the NBA when he's healthy, I would have called you insane because CJ McCollum, he didn't have that kind of value going in. Same with Corey Kispert, all right? And it took the organization a lot of time. They didn't want to give up Kispert, but they realized getting someone like Tre Young in return for Kispert and McCollum, you kind of got to do it. They tried to make a deal done where they don't give up Kispert. It wasn't happening, so they ended up biting the bullet on that. But that's what they did. They, rehabbed McCollum's value all the way up to where you could get Tre Young. And this team, it's not like they've been great either. When I pull up the stats here, they'll show up here in just a second. It's not like this team has been great. It's not. They've just been very mediocre when you look at it. At their points per game, and like I mentioned, the offense, you're not worried about that with Lonzo Ball. You're not, okay? Just being honest. You're not worried about the offense whatsoever because Tre Young is going to help that out. And then whoever you draft in the draft this year is going to help that out right now. They're 23rd in points per game right now, which is surprising because they were 28th, 29th earlier in the season. The defense, though, is not as bad. It's just the perimeter defense. They could get a little bit better. They're currently 22nd in steals per game, but they're second in blocks per game. The interior defense has been one of the best in the NBA, and that's mainly thanks to Alex Sarr. This team is just really good overall defensively. Ball just bolsters that a little bit more. He comes to Washington. All of a sudden, Washington is like a 6th seed in the East next season because everyone's developed greatly. Keyshawn George becomes a reliable 16, 6, and 6 starter. You got Tre Young averaging 20 and 10. Alex Sarr averaging 25 and 10. First-round draft pick of Boozer, DeBonce, or Peterson. Tre Johnson's becoming one of the best three-point shooters in the league. You got a solid bench of Bub Carrington, Bilal Coulibaly, for example. Justin Champagnie, and then, you add in Lonzo Ball to that mix, who's getting some time. They're a decent team, and it looks like, look, they got value. Go to another first. Kick it down the road and get more first down the line. That's what you're kind of looking at with the Wizards trading for Lonzo Ball right here when you look at all these stats going into it. So that's really all I have for today's video. Let me know what you guys personally think about trading for a guy like Lonzo Ball to the Wizards. Do you see it as a long-term move, or do you really just see it as look, this is just kicking the can down the road to, turn a undervalued undervalued player into an overvalued player and get draft capital in return from, like we saw with Bradley Beal, all the way to getting Trae Young, and even some draft capital out of those trades as well. That's all I got for this video. Let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.